So Hegan Kogan, once again, analyzing another document I found from the National Archives. The little bit that this gives you,
The little historical context.
yeah, there's a lot in there, and we're going to kind of like pick that apart before we get into this. So this was a Labor Commissioner, Charles Nell, and Assistant Secretary of the Treasury, James Reynolds, were commissioned by President Theodore Roosevelt to conduct an inspection of the meatpacking industry. And this is just an excerpt of their findings.
Yeah. Minimal historical context here.
Yep.
You know, letting us know these two individuals are part of the presidential cabinet, and it's letting us know that Theodore Roosevelt is our president at the time. Roosevelt becomes president after McKinley's assassination in 1901,
Right.
president until like 1908 after that.
Yep.
And here he is, you know, so we are turn of the 20th century. The progressive reform era is in full swing.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine that Roosevelt has read The Jungle.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that comes to mind as well as I'm looking at this is that I'm thinking of that political cartoon where he has the rake.
Yep.
It says on the rake investigation, the meat scandal, and there's that big vat of just disgustingness.
Rats running over it.
Yep. And that had to do with, of course, what he read in that book, The Jungle, where what he winds up reading about in The Jungle, just in case, was unsanitary conditions in the meatpacking industry.
Wasn't even why he was trying to write it. It was following about immigrant workers,
He
and it winds
said-
up being
yeah.
just this expose.
I aim for the heart of Americans, and I hit them in the stomach.
Yep.
The great thing about that is that, you know, we read that one portion from his book, and that's just what kind of gets this investigation going.
Yeah.
And that's going to lead to reforms. Now, when we were looking at, you know, an actual investigation done by the federal government, and then their findings to the Senate and the House of Representatives, their findings are also going to be interesting, and that can maybe add to that disgusting factor.
Yep.
So let's start here. To the Senate and the House of Representatives, this report is preliminary in nature. I submit it to you now because it shows the urgent need of immediate action by the Congress. The conditions shown by even the short inspection to exist in the Chicago stockyards are revolting. It is imperatively necessary in the interest of health and of decency that they should be radically changed. Under the existing law, it is wholly impossible to secure satisfactory results. So just right here,
So the investigation isn't even done,
right,
and they find it absolutely necessary to be like, look, we're letting you know how bad things are. We haven't even uncovered everything yet. It's probably only going to get worse the deeper they dig.
yeah, this is preparing them.
Yeah.
This is going to be gross.
So
This is
like,
your
hey,
warning here.
this is already bad. You boys, the Senate and House of Representatives, better get to work
Yeah.
on new legislation to protect the American people.
So now we're going to look at their findings.
Yeah.
So here we go. Condition of the yards. Before entering the buildings, we noted that the condition of the yards themselves. The pavement is mostly of brick. The bricks laid with deep grooves between them, which inevitably fill with manure and refuse. The pavement cannot be properly cleaned and is slimy and malodorous. The smell and the bacteria from the manure inevitably end up in the meat products that are to be processed. Abominable as the above-named conditions are, the one that affects most directly and seriously the cleanliness of the food products and the frequent absence of any bathroom provisions. Washing sinks are not furnished or are small and dirty. Neither are towels, soap, or toilet paper provided. Men and women return directly from the unsuitable bathrooms to plunge their unwashed hands into the meat to be converted into such food products as sausage, dried beef, and other compounds.
Seriously, just ate.
I know.
Seriously, just
And
ate.
here it is. I mean, you really just, what he's really addressing here is the hand washing and lack of,
Or lack thereof.
or lack thereof, of proper hygiene, particularly when you use the facilities, when you're using the bathroom. And the interesting thing is that when he's mentioning, you know, here's the problem, here are some needs, you need towels, you need soap, you need all of these things, they're not present. They're also mentioning the outside of this.
Yeah, well, as you were reading that, I'm
Yeah.
thinking like, all right, so I'm walking in over this slimy manure, disgusting pavement into the factory, bringing that inside onto the factory floor. We know from The Jungle that meat would commonly fall on the floor and they would just simply pick it back up and throw it in the mixer.
What's interesting is that this guy's investigation started as soon as he was within steps of the door.
Yeah.
Rather than waiting
Yeah.
to get inside and then go, okay, now it's on. Now I really need to start. Look, this guy was looking for stuff before he even got in there. So that's important to note. And again, when you're talking about the pavement, how it's not properly cleaned outside, I mean, really interesting stuff. What else did he find?
Oh, so there's more?
Yeah, there's more. Treatment of meats and prepared food products. Uncleanliness in the handling of products in some of the largest establishments. Slabs of meat that are sent to the boning room are thrown in a heap on the floor. The workers climb over these haps like the pieces they wish and frequently throw them down upon the dirty floor next to their bench.
That floor that was people walking in across the manure. I don't want to.
This is a very, very short document when you think about it.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what else could they have found? The investigation itself seemed to be pretty thorough. I mean, they were starting as soon as they were approaching the building.
But back to that. This was just the beginnings of the investigation.
Right.
It's going to get worse. They said this. It's so bad. We have to tell you about it now. We're not even done with our investigation.
I mean, here's the other thing too. Are these guys qualified experts? What kind of background and training do they have?
Yeah.
Is this what you see and now you're going to bring in a qualified expert that's going to now measure the bacteria levels?
Yeah.
Or pretty interesting. I mean, pretty gross. And again, this is great when you're talking about supporting documents that talk about going along with the meat inspection, going along with Upton Sinclair's book, The Jungle, to go along with that political cartoon, and it really gives you.
I believe you just said it, the Meat Inspection Act, the Pure Food and Drug Act,
Yeah, this is what's-
eventually the Food and Drug Administration. We've done plenty of videos about how America has changed.
Oh yeah.
And it isn't changed because it's like, let's just do it. No. It's something disastrous that happened, whether it's an accident, a fire, a terrorist attack like 9/11, or the publishing of a book.
Right.
That opened up America's eyes to just how disgusting things were in this country.
People don't create laws to be proactive, and usually the legal system
Mostly
is very reactive. Yep. Good. Anything else we want to add to this?
No, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah. Right. This was pretty gross. Excellent. Thanks for watching.